Hi, everyone. If I haven't had a chance to meet you at lunch or before the session today, my name is Ryan Baumann. I am on our developer experience engineering team at Google Maps platform, and I'm based in San Francisco. And I'm really excited today to moderate our panel to ask and answer all these great questions you all have had. So please keep them coming. And let's get started with a couple of questions from earlier today that you all submitted. Let's start with a question for Dave McCluskey. Dave?
That's
hey,
me.
Dave.
Hey.
Yes. So Ronnie asks, with AI agents generating geospatial prototypes from prompts, where do you see Google Maps platform going in the next 2 years?
Great. Well, thanks for the question. Yeah, we just saw some really exciting vibe-coded examples from Thor and the Google DeepMind team. So it's been really exciting kind of seeing some of the innovation coming from the developer community. And when I say developer community, it's really shifted because it's not just developers in the traditional sense that we think of them, but you know, creators or builders or however you want to call them. And so it's really opened up sort of the applications that we see to really anyone with an imagination, right, can create an app and build an app. So as that relates to Google Maps platform over the next 2 years, I'm excited about developments on like a number of different fronts, and please others can chime in as well. I'm really excited about some of the new 3D mapping capabilities that have been coming out. I think you've all seen Google Earth and 3D there, but now that's open to any developers through our Maps APIs. I think that's really exciting. And then I'm really excited to see, what developers do by bringing, again, this real world context, information about our real world into AI agents and what will emerge there. And so I'm seeing, over the next 2 years from our team, I think you're going to see more and more integrations that seem very native to our AI platforms. And you're going to start seeing a lot of convergence there between, Google Maps API tools and our Gemini and agentic platforms.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave. Yeah, a convergence between maybe a software developer and an agent user in a lot of cases. They're all making different things, but not necessarily, coding day to day. It's going to be exciting. Yeah. Anyone else have anything to chime in there?
Yeah, I see many more roles getting involved in teams. Like I think classic flow is the PM writes a requirements document and the UX designer designs how it's going to look, and then engineering will write the code to match those specs. And it's a very linear process and sequential process. But in my team, as we're building a new experience, we're really seeing that all functions are getting more involved in different parts. So we're more in sync and we're able to communicate more through these interactive prototypes, even if the non-technical folks are not writing production code, we're still better able to speak the same language.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela. Let's go on to a somewhat dovetailed question here for Martin. Ahmed asks, how did your design background shift to tech? And what advice do you have for designers entering tech with the rise of AI?
Good question, yeah. Yeah, for me, it was at a point I wish I would be now. Yeah, with the tools that are there, because I was at a university and we were allowed to do any project that we like to do, but I was a designer and I had no idea how to code, and I was asked my other friends who were computer science students, and they said, okay, I don't have time to do that. I have to learn from my thesis and so on. So I had to do it at my own. Yeah, so I had to learn how to code. And for me, I would say this time is the perfect timing where you can bring all these different things together, designing things, as Angela said. Okay, now the product manager who thinks about what does the user need, I do a spec for this, then I pass it to a designer, and then I program it. You can now combine this into really early prototypes, and this is a new area, I would say. Yeah, and I would say definitely do that. Yeah, think about your own needs, think about the user's needs, and start coding little prototypes and iterate over this and create something at your own. Yeah.
That's awesome. Any other comments from the panel? I think how we all build is changing quite a bit, but the thing that is staying constant is, understand your user, have a good problem-solving, decision-making process, and iterate a lot by trying. And now you can do that faster than ever. We have another question here for Ken. Vasu asks, in the day planner agent, how is security and verification handled, especially if the agent hallucinates?
Okay, so the point of adding grounding to the day planner agent is to reduce hallucinations. So we're trying to just do away with the problem in that regard. You still can get some, say, misinterpretations. Sometimes the maps grounding API won't be invoked for a certain prompt because the LLM doesn't believe that grounding is the appropriate way to respond, and maybe more general general knowledge response is more appropriate. There's talk of verification, I think, and in the context of the question, I wasn't sure if that was verifying the answer is correct or verifying the user is who they are or where they claim to be. But to some degree, if the blue dot is off, it's still a representation of our best guess of where you're at with some error bar integrated into that. And then security-wise, that could be the security of the physical position of the user. Are they in a safe place or not? Are they standing, say, on solid ground, or did we lead them into a lake? Or are we talking about the security of their data, really meaning their location at that point in time? Is that protected? We do our best to get both of those answers right at all times, especially the security part where a lot of our data is encrypted through the entire flow.
Yeah, I think security with agentic software is definitely top of mind for lots of users. A lot of us are putting agents, or developing agents for the first time and not necessarily putting them into production yet. So we have to figure out what those guardrails are. And Day Planner Agent's a good example of one that has access to a lot of personal information, right? So you want to make sure that it really is trustworthy and also secure for your users.
I guess in theory, right? Like, so Day Planner Agent literally is just a demo for a showroom floor, and it does not really delve into those things. But yes, as Ryan points out, for a production grade agent, those are the things you want to think about and get control over, which you can do in a sort of enterprise grade platform like a Vertex or an agent platform.
Yeah. Cool. Let's go to Travis. Travis, Philip asks, and I'm not sure if this was a Gemini hallucination or not, but it says, Philip, car enthusiast. So Philip, if you're in the audience, I hope you're a car enthusiast. What role will Google Maps play in the future of self-driving cars?
Ooh, let's see. So when we're talking about self-driving cars, there are multiple experiences in that question. There's the pre-trip before I actually get into an autonomous vehicle. So where there's typically a mobile app involved, there's the in-car experience or in-vehicle experience. And then there's also the simulation, pre-planning, training a fleet to operate in a new territory. So I'll start with the first. So I think that there are deeper collaborations with using our SDKs and our APIs for the mobile app experiences to ensure that we can help end users better clarify where they want to go. So like, hey, if I'm trying to go to a destination, like routing someone to the correct entrance for that location, our Maps platform has that information to help then see the in-vehicle experience. As far as the in-vehicle experience goes, they're typically, well, I'll use Waymo as an example. If you've been in a Waymo vehicle, there are multiple map visualizations within the Waymo vehicle that you see. One of them happens to be using our same Maps SDK that we provide on our Android form factor. In that, see a future where we allow passengers of these vehicles to actually take more direct action that's useful for them on the go. Like, hey, I want to order my usual at Starbucks and pick it up on the way to go, and actually be able to connect with the vehicle, the autonomous vehicle, at that stop implicitly along the way, pick up your order, keep going to your destination, have that be a seamless experience. So I can see us partnering more with autonomous vehicles to make the in-vehicle experience more seamless for just the end users, more pleasurable. And I think probably a bigger vector would be, as the proliferation of autonomous vehicles increases in different regions, before you bring your fleet to a new area, you really want to make sure that you at least have a good foundational model that helps you kind of navigate new regions and new potential like hazards or whatnot. You want to have a good, some initial base level of confidence that your autonomous vehicles will operate appropriately in those conditions. And I think with our immense road network and traffic information and things, we can help autonomous companies really seed and help them expand their fleets into new territories on the globe. So I'll say those are the things off the top of the head, but I'm sure there's more. But if anyone wants to contribute, please do.
Yeah, high level, what I heard there, Travis is obviously really deep on a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of amazing like engineering ideas here. But high level, you help the vehicle navigate, the robot navigate the real world. And on the other hand, there's a big human user interface with the robot to build trust in what the robot is doing and safety into the overall experience. For example, like pick up and drop. Has anyone here had a chance to actually ride in a Waymo? Couple people? Okay, good amount of the audience here. If you do get the chance, we've been expanding to a lot of new cities here, so it's more accessible. I'm not sure if it's in New York yet. Is it New York? Not New York yet. Not New York yet. San Francisco, Bay Area. I know it's in Phoenix, and it's expanding in like Austin and a couple of other areas right now. There's a huge aspect of that pickup and drop-off experience that the map between the application you have in your phone and on the vehicle itself that makes that an easy connection without a human involved. Like when you get an Uber pickup and you can't quite find where the driver is, you have to solve for that without a human in the loop and being able to call the driver, right? So there's two big aspects of that, and I think Google Maps platform, like Travis described, is going to be a big part of both of those things.
Oh, there's one other area I forgot. So there are other types of vehicles outside of the ones that go on roads. There are those that are traveling in the air as well. So you have drones, IoT devices, and for drone imagery, or drones, or helicopter taxis. I forgot what the air taxis. I do also see us helping air taxis navigate in canyons where connectivity goes close to nil. We have services like VPS that can be used to get accurate location based off of imagery that I think will help the takeoff and landing use cases for some of these additional autonomous vehicles as well.
Not autonomous, but the Joby example, the flying taxi company. One person that works for that company showed a really cool way that they're using sound pollution, sound footprint to show how much quieter some of those new vehicles are compared to helicopters, and showing altitude-based sound footprints of like what a helicopter sound would reverberate through versus the smaller sound footprint for some of those new vehicles. So yeah, we'll move on.
Amazing.
On 3D maps, exactly. Yep.
So we're adding like design and planning as well to the overall like list of use cases. and flying vehicles, of course. That was awesome. Thank you, Travis. Let's do a different direction here. A question from Mike, actually. Question from Jian Shu. I've been a Google Maps contributor for many years, and my reviews and content have generated millions of views. Many creators today are building communities and influencing consumer decisions through platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Has Google Maps considered creating more formal creator and influencer ecosystems where top contributors can receive incentives, awards, or business partnerships? And if not, what are some of the challenges to like creating that kind of community?
I think so. Cami, who is on my team, actually hails from that exact team. So it might even be a question for her to pop up and think about and answer. I don't know if you heard the question in detail, but I'm curious who for the person that asked the question, could you raise your hand? Yeah. Oh, yeah. What level are you? 9. Wow, that's high.
That's impressive.
That's very impressive. Wow. Yeah, let's have a hand. That's great. Level 9's high. That's a great question. Cami, I am kind of interested to hear your answer to this.
I worked on the Local Guides brand for 7 years, and I was responsible for bringing the rewards and recognition program to the Local Guides team. So it's certainly something that we could consider and dive into. But yeah, that's a great question. And congrats on being a level 9. That's super, super impressive. A lot of reviews, a lot of photos, and keep contributing.
Thanks, Cami. Thanks, Mike. Let's go to Mira. You already have the microphone. Perfect. She's ready. Mira had that amazing presentation with all the different like videos and media generation you can create, right? So one question from Sumanth. How do you achieve fast image generation with real-time location grounding and street view redaction without like sacrificing performance, essentially?
That's a great question. Part of that is our secret sauce, but the part of it that we can talk about is it all comes back to basic computer science concepts, like things that you build upon. For the students in the room, please continue to pay attention to algorithms. AI does not replace your brain. Learning about the fundamentals of computer science. So yeah, the problems so some of our constraints are generating the image on the clean image, generating the final image on the clean image itself takes an amount of time that we can't control for. The part that we do have control for is everything that happens between the time you send your prompt and the time when the image model actually starts generating. So it means that we do things like we try to find the lightest weight possible approach to extract the location from your prompt. In some other context, maybe we would in the future provide a UI picker to let you both have customized, be able to better customize the grounded image without sacrificing the time you're actually spending there waiting. We strike a good balance between some of the trade-offs we've had to make involve quality with respect to speed or trying to do some things offline while still retaining our eval basic of like, it's very high, like about 99% plus redaction standard. So, but yeah, everything comes from the fundamentals. So please continue paying attention in class. Thanks.
Hot follow-up question actually for you as well, Mira. Why did you decide to start coding after professional figure skating?
That's a really good question. After figure skating, I thought about, okay, so I'm going to college. What is something that really interests me? What am I passionate about? And at the time, the industry was actually not in such a great state. So that's why I decided to pick computer science. I didn't really, my first priority was pursuing my passion, and then finding a job was my second priority. So I guess that kind of worked out.
Follow your passions. I love it. Let's do a question for Thor. DeepMind is famous for doing model research, and I'm curious to know what other kind of work DeepMind is up to beyond research.
Oh, interesting. Beyond research. Yeah. So, I mean, within DeepMind, yes. So we're broadly a research organization, and we focus on a lot of the foundational frontier models. You know, also there's a lot of research that doesn't necessarily go straight into sort of the APIs. You know, there's Dolphin Gemma. I don't know if people seen that one. That's a fun one. Bunch of researchers just wanted to go and spend time with dolphins, so they found a mission there. But so there's a lot of different direction. Obviously, that's on the research side. But then we broadly also now in DeepMind focus on basically deploying these models for the broader developer community. So on our side, we built the Gemini API, and that is specifically focused on the self-serve developers. So really the idea that you just go, you generate an API key, and you just run without ever talking to anyone. So we're actually building that within DeepMind. And then the Google Cloud organization is taking more, the white glove enterprise, if you need kind of custom data locality and kind of things like that, then you would go out to Google Cloud, where they take the DeepMind models and kind of deploy them for sort of these different user groups. I'm not sure if the question, because in a way it's kind of the research is the biggest part of it, and then basically deploying the research for the good of, the developer community and ideally the world. So we're building the Gemini apps also within DeepMind. We're building kind of the workspace integrations within DeepMind. So DeepMind has definitely grown within Google. Not sure if that fully answers the question, or if you were sort of just trying to dig for something that would slip out. It won't. But yeah, so that's broadly kind of where we're looking, foundationally the research, and then deploying it for the good of humanity.
I love that mission. Thank you, Thor. Angela, I'm a recent computer science graduate. This is from Bhagya, working on data analytics and AI research. What opportunities do you see for combining Google Maps platform with AI and analytics, and what skills should I focus on to prepare for those roles?
Wow. This is a really great question, because it's one of our newer product areas. The part of my presentation where I talked about the huge data sets that Google makes available, these are being surfaced through some existing products like Google Earth Engine and Google Earth AI. But for data that you're used to getting through Google Maps platform, say you've been trying to analyze places information, the Places API itself is not made for analytics or AI scale processing, because it only returns like 20 results at a time. To do large scale analysis on our Places data, we have actually started to release various sets of insights products. So we have Places Insights, we have Imagery Insights, we have road management insights for cities who want to know like how much traffic is traveling on the roads, or where are the hot spots or the traffic jams, so that they can optimize how their roads are managed in order to improve for their constituents. And there's even population dynamics insights. So you can analyze characteristics of population at large scale in these products. And so this suite of products is designed exactly for your interest area, whoever asked the question. And so that's where I'm so excited that we have this convergence of Google Maps platform making our data more available for AI scale, for big data analytics scale, at a rate never precedented before. We were so limited by rate limiting on the APIs before. Yeah.
Analytics has been a big new product area we've invested in, because we've heard from a lot of our developers that they wanted more analytics use cases they could build with Google Maps. We're trying to make that really easy now. So I think we got one good question for everyone on the panelists so far. There's more that you submitted, but I want to turn it over to some live questions as well. So if I don't see a live question, if there's no hands raised, I'll move on to some of the other questions that we have submitted. But please, if you have a burning question that you didn't have a chance to submit, or you got the idea from listening to the panelists just now in the last half hour, please raise your hand and we will take a live question here. Yeah, let's go back in the back room. There's a microphone coming back around. Thank you.
Talking to the box. Hello, it's Marius. I've got a bit of a similar question to the local guide question. Slightly, well, put it this way: every time we talk to a retail customer, the very first thing they say to us is, "Are you going to help us verify our store locations?" Now, this is something that sits with the Google profile, business profile. We know it's a different team, but fundamentally, customer thinks it's exactly the same thing. You know, it's the maps people. It must be part of the same thing. And we find it sometimes a little disconnected, you know, because there's this profile thing. We don't quite know how it works. Agencies are involved there. There's verification that needs to happen. You know, what, and it feels a little bit disconnected. So the question is just, how do you think about business profile manager and the business profilers for particular retailers, and you know, how do we bring that closer to the sort of fundamental maps product we're talking about?
Yeah, I can start with this. So my barber actually asked me this question when I visited him to get the haircut that I have right now. He had someone put in an erroneous website that looked like a barber site and was taking appointments. And so people were coming in angry because of this website. And I asked, is your business profile claimed? And they said it wasn't. And so I think it would be maybe useful to help arm you with some of those instructions, at least, to help people understand how an unclaimed business can sometimes mean that anyone can suggest edits for that business if it's not claimed. And so if it's claimed, the business owner can look after what information's there, opening hours, a website address, things like that. But if it's not claimed, enough people can recommend a change, and that change can be accepted if enough people suggest it. So maybe I think maybe just, you know, enabling, because I think you're someone that's speaking with a lot of businesses in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. And so having that information maybe more accessible to advise them might be useful. I'm not sure if anyone else has other things to add. Angela, go ahead.
Yeah, just talking about different parts of Google wanting to talk to each other. Google Business Profiles was part of the Geo organization before, but we have had some integrations where we have an entry point from Google Business Profiles for businesses to, if they need help building a store locator, that connects them to what they need on Google Maps platform in order to build a store locator for themselves. We are thinking about other connection points, and I think verification is a frictionful point especially for retail customers, and so we do see opportunities where we can be more helpful to everywhere from small businesses to large retailers by connecting more to their business profile touch point, because to them that is their front door to the world online, and so it is on our minds, and I know that not on this panel, but some of my colleagues at the office are working on this problem. So we are investing in that.
And I could see how they would think that you would know everything about Google Maps. So, you know, we should try and get you that information to make sure you're able to convey that too. So, yeah.
Another live question? Yes, please.
Hi, everyone. So I have a question for you guys. So is there a fight between you and Apple Map? I don't understand. Because sometimes I have my phone, so I pull up my phone and trying to get like Google Map, and then all of a sudden like Apple Map just show up. So, and I don't like Apple Map. So, so just, you gotta tell me.
Are you using a iOS device by chance?
Yeah, maybe it's because of that. I don't know. Just, you gotta tell me.
Just get a Pixel.
That's the first suggestion.
Step one, get Pixel. Just adding on to that, if this is an iOS device, there's a full company that owns that operating system, and they do have the ability to set the defaults, but you can change that to Google Maps if you want to. You know, you can walk through that, you know, live a little bit later if you want to. If you want some help there. But like, are we fighting? No, I think just to be like transparent, I think Google Maps, our biggest fight is with being complacent with ourselves and not taking full advantage of the opportunity before us. So if there's anything that I think Google Maps is competing with, I think it's competing with itself to make sure that we are the right platform so people can take action on the world.
Wow, thank you, Travis. I think we still have some more live questions here. Yes, please, up in front. Woo! Good catch.
Hi, I'm Ruchi. I am one of the leads of the Google Dev community here in New York. And I wanted to thank you, Cami and Ryan, for bringing everybody here together. So it's been really, really inspirational. The one thing that I want to ask you guys, and each one of you, is real quick. I know we're here for Google Maps. I'm so excited you guys brought this to our community here. And what does Google Maps bring to the community? One word or one sentence? Thank you.
Connection.
Yeah, just innovation, just creativity.
Good question. Something new, huh?
Good luck.
Inspiration, connection, education.
Action.
Good.
What I'd call a toothbrush journey. So you brush your teeth every day. But me personally, without Google Maps, there are lots of places in my community that I wouldn't know how to get to. So just helps me in my day, enable me in my day-to-day.
Say trust. We try really hard to earn your trust.
The world.
Yeah.
Bring it home.
All right. Google Maps brings to the community a sense of place, a sense of direction, and a sense of belonging.
Right.
Good one.
3.
Woo! 10.
Wow. I was going to go for like the curiosity about the real world. I still open up Google Earth and be like, what's that place like? I want to see Street View.
And reach out and drop it.
That was way better.
You had the most amount of time to think.
Thank you. Any other live questions? Otherwise, we do have a couple more good ones here. Here's a quick one. Can you explain the Grill Me feature in AI development agents like Jetski? Might have been actually Ed or Dale here that had that one. You want to answer that?
So in anti-gravity and a lot of agents out there, as you're trying to flesh out your ideas, you're trying to figure out what is it that I want to build, and it's not even clear to yourself. I think that's the whole idea of like when I build a first prototype and then throw it away, because I'm just trying to probe the landscape. And so Grill Me is a persona that the like anti-gravity can use, and it starts asking you questions that you may not have even considered, like, how do I, solve this problem? Like what's an important part, going back to the app that I had, like what's an important feature of a point of interest? Like, oh, it's got water, it's got food, it's got restrooms. And these are the kind of things I may not have thought of. And maybe it's got a place where you can get medical aid, or maybe you can get transport out if you're having a bad day or something like that. And the whole point of Grill Me is to help you make your ideas more solid. And so as you're getting started with a new idea, a new program, that's one of the first things you can start with. And if you combine Grill Me with Goal, which is another one of those things, it's amazing. And I'm going to leave all of you guys to explore what Goal does. Just be prepared to be amazed.
That's awesome. There's so many things to explore and try in this AI era. There's a new tool and a new feature that's useful like every week. It's amazing. We're all learning so much. We'll do any other live questions? Yeah, in the back, please.
Yeah. I am endeavoring to build an augmented reality video game using Google Maps data and Google Earth data, and I am interested to know if there's any intended support as a game engine or otherwise for augmented reality and gaming. Yeah.
Travis. He leaned forward as soon as that question came in there.
Yes, yes. So, all right. So there are capabilities that we have to bear, and you can continue to talk with us about some of those. I mentioned like VPS or navigation APIs, and we have like our 3D tiles offering that we've made publicly available. Companies like Cesium use. Bentley Cesium use those 3D tiles for different use cases, but I think that we have building blocks and capabilities to, as a starting point, is something to probably talk with some of these brilliant minds here and in the crowd to like help bootstrap you.
Nice. AR, XR, and games, a whole new application space. We can start solving problems in. One other question in the front here. Yes. Microphone up front here. Actually, I can. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Come right up.
How's it going? Thanks, guys, for putting this together. It's been awesome. I have a question I think might be helpful for everyone here. I'm a solo startup founder, and trying to synthesize a lot of information, trying to figure out where I'm going to build it. Google is releasing a ton of products. They had a web page that was like 1,326 use cases from like all the Google startups. It's like 28 pages long. And so basically like, a lot of information coming at you like all the time and like evolving what you're building like really fast. I'm just wondering if you guys have any tips for like how you, if any of you have this problem, like how you synthesize a lot of information easily. Like I have a system, like as you guys were talking, I have like this crystal systems with Claude Code where I'm just like, you're telling me things and I'm like, oh, is this useful for like what I'm doing? Like that kind of thing. That's fast, but it's like, if I have like 50 photos on my phone, it's still slow. So I'm just wondering if you guys, have any way to deal with your own ability to evaluate like a lot of information.
Yeah, I think we'll have a couple people that are interested in here. I'll start quickly with, I struggle with this a lot as well. There's always a billion different things going on, but I don't have any recommendations on like what works well. I feel similarly like drowning in all the different things and trying to synthesize it. But what I do think is really important is that, there's still curiosity that you need to put into where do I want more information? Where do I need to explore? What's the follow-up question? And I think no matter what system you have set up, always cultivate that.
I think what we're trying to do as well from the corpus of information for Google Maps platform, at least, it's a bit of an old-fashioned technique, but our innovators newsletter, we actually pay very close attention to curating the things that are most important. I think even sticking an LLM on all the back issues of that could be a base of data to kind of ask questions to, or our docs. I think, I think it's a tough problem and a little bit of an old-fashioned solution, but just the curation that humanly we're trying to do for everyone in the room is one attempt at trying to help, at least in the Google Maps platform part of Google, to curate it for you a little bit more. And I do know other Google developer groups are trying to do the same thing with their Discord servers and their social accounts and things like that to try to, because there are a lot of things from across Google as a developer coming at you. So.
Anyone else in the panel? This is probably a common problem we all face.
I mean, I can give you the misery loves company. We're all suffering through this. The amount of noise has tripled relative to signal with the, advent of these things that can create more text than you are willing to read. We work individually, toying around with things like agents in our anti-gravity harness. We have internal products and tools that are being pushed to us via, Gmail, via chat that tries to summarize and pull out signal. And it's all in a state of flux because it changes every 2 weeks with every new model, and what we see gets traction and what we don't. And eventually that will creep its way into Gmail and creep its way into chat. But yeah, I think we're all suffering through it.
Have you tried Gemini?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was going to mention there are a number of tools that I've found useful. I mean, I think everyone might have their own kind of productivity tips and the ways that they're using models to boost their efficiency day to day. I like Notebook LM from Google. If you haven't used that, you can set up a bunch of different notebooks with different sources of data and use that as like this ongoing, you know, this knowledge base for yourself, for your life. That and now in Gemini there are connectors to your Google Drive and to your personal information across Gmail. With Gemini Spark, if you which was announced at Google I/O, you can set up automated tasks like summarize the most important things in my email and send me another email with those highlights. So yes, you're producing more information with these models, but hopefully it helps you to separate the signal from the noise a little bit. I guess I'll hand over here. There's a
do we have a
microphone that we can pass?
Yeah, I can
this way
over here. Got one? Okay. Oh, here we go. Heads up. Good catch. Good throw.
Hi. So my question is, so every region and every society have like different laws and ethical standards. So how do you train your AI models to comply with those laws and ethics?
So I think there's some baseline things that are true regardless of which region. So we'll take that as a starting point. For example, it's not okay to do certain disrespectful actions at places of worship, right? It's not okay to do certain person-related harms. So I think starting from that's a baseline that is something that would be more baked into a model. And then now you get into things that are more region specific. Those would be more appropriate for prompt level classifiers, let's say. Let's like taking a step back from LLMs, we already encounter these kinds of problems in the world today. Like, for example, depending on where you live, one might have a different expectation of what the map boundaries around a region might look like. And we already deal with this today in Google Maps, and I think having LLMs is no different. But because of the runtime nature of that problem, it's more something that I think would be dealt with at runtime. And we are dealing with some of these, not quite yet at the level of region specific, but that's where we hope to be so that we can serve every user responsibly. And I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and that also plays into where, you know, there's certain region where certain models are not immediately available because we need to take that into consideration as we roll it out. So generally the US always gets all the stuff first, and then there's a big effort to roll it out more broadly.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you for all of your excellent questions. We went in lots of different directions, and we learned a ton from your questions and from your feedback today. So I want to thank our panel and thank all of you for coming and asking such great questions. We really appreciate you. So let's give yourselves a round of applause.